Hey guys, today I'm excited to give you my spoiler-free thoughts on One Piece, the new live-action One Piece series that is on Netflix. Season 1 has dropped. It is out now, and it is 8 episodes long. Now, I gotta admit, when they first sent me the screeners and they said, embargo is, the moment it drops on Netflix, that's almost never a good sign, okay? Always makes me nervous when embargo is the day that it releases or even the exact time that it releases, right? It's a little nerve-wracking. So you go into it kind of thinking, is this going to be good? Is it not going to be good? Now, if you've been around for a while, you know I never really got into One Piece. And I love anime, don't get me wrong. It's just One Piece has like a bajillion episodes. And I'm like, I don't know where to start. I don't have time right now. It's something that I've shelved. I will get into eventually. MHA has kind of been my thing. And Spy X Family. Like, there's a few that have been my thing, and I'm like, I just don't have time for One Piece right now, unfortunately. But I do want to get into it. I always have. I've heard fantastic things. Now, I will say it was a little bit of a struggle starting off in this series, just not really knowing these characters, not knowing their backgrounds. It takes a minute for the character development, right? I'm sure those who go in knowing these characters, or at least a little bit of a basis, a little bit of a background of these characters, probably have an easier time. The first 2 episodes, I was struggling a little bit. I felt like they're introducing these characters. I don't really know that much about them, and they don't give me that much about them to make me care, okay? Now, it's 2 episodes out of 8. These episodes are around 45 minutes to an hour long, depending on the episode. So then it was the first 2. Okay, this is how I'll put it. The first one, I was like, okay, I'm interested. I'm intrigued. I wish I knew a little bit more, but I'm kind of digging Luffy. He's like very optimistic and very over the top. But I don't hate him, right? Then we start to meet a couple of new characters. Episode 2, we get this clown pirate. Buggy is his name, and he was a little too much for me at first. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, okay. Also, if you guys have been around for a while, I'm not a giant fan of clowns, so this was not the episode for me, right? And it did feel very over the top. So basing off the first 2 episodes, I felt like, wow, it feels like this is anime, and they tried to translate so much from anime to live action in literal ways that made it really, really over the top, a little bit ridiculous, kind of easy to like laugh at, but not in a good way, and I was like, oh no, I felt like I didn't know the characters well enough for them to be jumping into stuff. It was a little bit disappointing. Okay, Q episodes 3 and 4, you guys know I love horror, right? That's one of my favorite genres, and I really felt like episodes 3 and 4 kind of dove into this like horror vibes, and we also got a lot of character development, a lot of background on certain characters that we needed, that I needed in order to appreciate these characters, and start to really like these characters. And so that's what I really liked about episodes 3 and 4. And then the longer it continued on, like, yes, we get the over the top anime stuff. It feels like this is geared towards fans of the anime and the mangas, and then also maybe a younger audience. Like, it's got that like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's over the top, right? That like these younger kids shows, like you talk about Disney Channel shows and Nickelodeon shows that just push stuff over the top just to overstimulate is what it felt like. But then it really has its grounded moments, especially the longer it goes on. For me, this got better and better and better. I started to, like I said, really understand the characters, fall in love with the characters. Zoro, who I was kind of like, I don't care about this guy at the beginning. They showed his background, and I was like, man, oh my gosh, I feel for him. I really, really like him a lot. He's probably my favorite character. Just in the first season, what we've gotten 8 episodes. I really like him, but there's a lot of characters that started to grow on me, right? Besides Zoro, once we start to learn more about Nami, I really started to enjoy her. Like, I really like this ragtag group of people that come together. I mean, that's what so many of these things are, right? But it's like this group of people that feel like misfits in their own way, that maybe they don't have certain things in their own lives and they find it with each other, right? Luffy's a great leader. Here's the thing about Luffy. He's very over the top, very optimistic constantly, which gets a little annoying at times. But overall, again, he started to really grow on me. I'd say by episode probably by episode 6, I started to really, really enjoy him more than I had. Like, I was kind of like, okay, he's like this main character, and he kind of annoys me a little bit. I hate to say that, but it's true. But as it went on, I did start to really kind of enjoy him. There's certain reveals that came out, and I don't want to give those away, especially for those who don't know the story and stuff. There's certain things that come out, and it makes you feel for him a little bit more, makes you understand him a little bit more. I find it very interesting. I kind of love the concept of, they're pirates, and he's like, we're a different kind of pirate, right? Which I love. Again, it's his optimistic, right? But it's fun. It brings a uniqueness to the show. And I like that, there's all these fruits that you eat, and they all have different powers, and like if you eat it you'll get a power, but they're all different, which is interesting to see as the time goes on, the different powers that these pirates have gotten, that these people have gotten when they ate a fruit, right? Of course, Luffy eats the gum gum fruit, and then he's stretchy. And let's talk about the stretching. Doesn't look great. However, probably one of the hardest things to pull off visually. But there's certain moments where it's like, okay, again, it feels very anime, very over the top. But it didn't look, there's some times where he stretches certain body parts that just don't look great. But I think that's just kind of part of the territory, right? It's a very hard thing to pull off, where there's a lot of other visuals in here that are great. One of my favorite things is every time they introduce a new pirate, they put up the wanted sign, say how much he's worth or whatever they're worth, and then their picture, and you kind of get a hint of like maybe how bad a pirate they are, right? How much bad stuff they've done, depending on how much money their bounty is for. So I think that's a great way to introduce these new characters. Started off not loving it, but by the end was really digging it. There's a little stinger at the end of the final episode, which has me hoping for more. I'm getting into it. I'd say honestly by episode 6 probably I was like in, and I was like, okay, I'm invested in these people and I need to know more. There's new characters coming in, but they're really started to do the deep dive of like, we're going to take a character, we've got this whole thing going on, we're going to take this specific character, we're going to go back in time, we're going to show you some stuff so you can understand why this character is the way they are. Get that character development, because that's what was needed, which I feel like we didn't get much of besides from Luffy in the first 2 episodes. So in order to really get that and to be able to actually understand these characters, it helped a lot. And then you get some more down-to-earth moments, right, where you get more story development, you get more of that, and it's not so much over the top. Like I said, episodes 3 and 4 had some really creepy horror vibes slipping in there that I was all about. I really, really enjoyed those episodes. And I think that started to get me excited. Then I went, and then it got better again. And by the end, I can say I'm a fan. I can say that I'm even more excited and intrigued and interested to go back at some point and watch the thousands of episodes of One Piece anime that's out there, because I'm starting to really enjoy these characters. Now, again, I can't compare this to the anime or the manga because I haven't read it and I haven't watched it, right? So I don't know much about it. So it's very, very hard to come at it. I don't know how fans are going to react to this. I'm very intrigued to see because honestly, guys, I'm recording this before I drop this, right? Embargo is as soon as it comes out, but I've recorded this a few days prior, so I'm very interested to see what happens when it does drop and when fans do watch this on Netflix, this live action version of a show and mangas that they've loved with their whole hearts, because that's happened to me before. And it's like you just don't know how it's going to translate. And so I'm very, very curious. So if you are a fan of One Piece, the anime, the manga, both, whatever, and now you've watched the live action, please, please, please let me know what you think down below, because I'm very interested. Did it hit right off the bat for you? Because it did take a few episodes really for me to get into it, and then it kind of lulled again, and then it went back up again, and then I was kind of all in by the end. I thoroughly enjoy it. I think the action is great. I love some of the fights, especially when they include the superpowers. It's kind of fun. I don't know that they're called superpowers, but you know what I mean. They're like abilities, I guess. It brings that kind of comic booky type aspect to it, which obviously I'm a fan of. I think my biggest thing is that it sometimes feels a little too over the top, a little too gimmicky, a little too like, hey, this happened in the anime, so we're going to try to translate it to live action, and that just doesn't always work. And it started off slow with the character development. I felt like I mean, I feel like people might give up after 2 episodes because they feel like they don't know these characters well enough. And I really, truly hope they don't. I hope they stick around. I'm very glad that I did. So listen, overall, I'm gonna give it a 3.5 out of 5 because I do think it has issues. This is the season as a whole is still very much a positive. It had its lulls. I wasn't a fan from the beginning, but now I'm in and I'm excited and I'm intrigued and I'm interested. There's some weird things like this one guy. I've got to say this because this is something that really truly bothered me. This one guy has like a metal jaw, right? I think he's called like Axe Hand because he's got like an axe for hand, but he has a metal jaw. I looked up pictures of him from the anime, and it's like a literal jaw. But in this, it looks like a Hannibal Lecter face piece, kind of, right? It looks like it's just a thing they put on him. And I'm like, there's all this like CGI and effects and stuff you did, and now you just have this thing placed over him. Like, I guess they're changing it because I don't know if it's supposed to actually be his jaw. I don't know. That was a little weird for me because it looks very silly and ridiculous. But again, it's that stuff that you take from anime and you try to translate it, and maybe it just doesn't work exactly, and you should tweak it, but they didn't. But I'm digging the crew. I'm digging the story. I love their kind of like camaraderie, is that the right word? Of them coming all together. There's definitely some twists and turns, some things that were unexpected for me. I don't want to dive into it because I don't want to ruin things, but there's certain things that happen with certain characters that maybe I didn't see coming. And I was kind of intrigued, leaning a little closer to my TV when these things were going down. But I'm hoping that we get a season 2 because I'm very interested to see where things go from here. I rambled a lot, but again, you guys let me know what you thought of this. And when you do let me know what you thought of the show, please, please, please let me know if you are a fan of the anime mangas already, or not. Because I'm very interested to see where this kind of all lies. It definitely could be something that fans are like, this isn't my One Piece, this is awful, blah, blah, blah. I don't know, because that's not me. All right, guys, well, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to me talk. Be sure to give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on more videos like this one. Follow me over on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and you guys can check me out at MamasGeeky.com. That's MamasGeeky.com. Thanks, guys. I'll see you next time.